In the 1960s, engineers in Alabama built the Saturn V rocket, the massive multi-stage machine that successfully carried human beings to the moon. Yet, as you can see in this photograph from the exact same era, the state producing that apex of human cooperation was still defining its citizens by where they were allowed to sit. We are left with a striking question. How does a single state operate as the intellectual engine for humanity's greatest unified exploration, while simultaneously enforcing such rigid, systemic division at home? Finding the answer requires looking past politicians and legislation. The actual driver of this history is the ground itself, the dirt, the rivers, and the minerals hidden beneath the surface. This topographical map reveals Alabama as three distinct geological zones: the Southern Waterways, the Central Black Belt, and the Northern Highlands. These regions functioned as the primary authors of the state's economy, its demographics, and the conflicts that defined its path. Starting in the south, the southern Gulf coastal plain is defined by a gentle descent toward the ocean, crisscrossed by an interconnected network of navigable rivers. For thousands of years, that water system provided a ready-made transit grid. It allowed the Mississippian culture to thrive and built massive ceremonial complexes, like these towering earthworks at Moundville, by easily moving goods and people across the region. Centuries later, those exact same strategic arteries drew competing French, British, and Spanish empires, all looking to extract resources and claim territory. When the French established Fort Toulouse in 1717, they placed it precisely where the Coosa and Tallapoosa rivers meet. This location created a natural choke point for anyone navigating the interior. Because all traffic had to pass through this juncture, the fort evolved into a necessary commercial and diplomatic nexus, where European merchants and Creek Indians traded deerskins and negotiated boundaries. Before a single road was paved, access to nature's infrastructure set the earliest terms for political dominance. Moving toward the center of the state, the terrain changes. Here sits the Black Belt, a geological zone defined by its dark, nutrient-rich soil. When word of this highly productive dirt spread in the early 1800s, it triggered a land rush, pulling hundreds of thousands of settlers into the territory. This fertile earth was suited for one demanding cash crop: cotton. To harvest it at scale, planters relied on the violent importation of enslaved African American labor. The resulting concentration of agricultural wealth turned the region into the economic heart of the Deep South, centralizing political power so completely that Montgomery was chosen as the first capital of the Confederacy. This map highlights the isolated Black Belt soil where the agricultural economy anchored. Overlaying 1960 census data, the highest concentrations of African American residents aligned perfectly with that soil vein. Following emancipation, descendants of enslaved workers remained concentrated in these rural counties. This demographic reality explains why the defining battles for human equality happened here. The 1965 Selma to Montgomery marches were an uprising of a population rooted in this terrain. The exact soil that incentivized a systemic slave empire created the demographic conditions that would eventually dismantle it. Further north, the rugged landscape rejects agriculture. The mountainous, rocky terrain of the Northern Highlands offered no fertile topsoil for cash crops. Instead, the value lay beneath the surface, where massive deposits of coal, thick veins of iron ore, and abundant limestone were buried in close proximity. Having the three ingredients to make steel within a single valley sparked an industrial explosion. Cities like Birmingham expanded as heavy manufacturing replaced farming. Nearby, the Tennessee Valley's steep elevation drops and rushing rivers presented hydroelectric potential, drawing major federal infrastructure projects to power the region. By 1960, that established industrial grid and surplus energy attracted NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center to Huntsville, converting a rocky valley into an aerospace hub. Unable to grow cotton, the Northern Highlands followed a path of manufacturing and engineering, a direction forced by the specific properties of the mountainous earth. Just north of Montgomery lies the Wetumpka crater, a 5-mile-wide fracture blasted into the bedrock by a meteorite 80 million years ago. It is a physical reminder that the landscape is shaped by deep impacts that leave permanent, undeniable scars. From the ancient mounds built along the rivers to the testing stands of the Saturn V, human ambition in Alabama has remained inextricably tied to the physical properties of the Earth. The physical landscape of Alabama provides a blueprint for the economic drivers and systemic conflicts that built the modern